Good evening, everyone. With the time being 6:00 p.m. on Tuesday, January 27th, 2026, I will call this meeting of the Webster School Committee to order and ask that we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As a reminder, this meeting is being recorded, both video and audio, and will be posted on the district website. The first item on the agenda is the discussion and approval of the minutes from our January 13th, 2026 meeting. Is there any discussion around those minutes? Hearing none. Desiree, would you please poll the committee?
Yes.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't ask for a motion. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I hear a motion and a second. Desiree, now would you please poll the committee?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. And the next item on our agenda is the superintendent's report. Good evening, Mrs. Perangeli.
Good evening. I will try and be quick because I know you're rushing things along here. Teasing. Thank you. I just wanted to give a big shout out and a thank you to our community, our town highway, for all their efforts, our custodial staff for being here over the weekend, cleaning up. There was a lot of snow to move, and these decisions are always not easy, and they take time, and they take a lot of communication with our business manager, with our town highway, with the guys, making sure that we have the ability to clean up and take care of our grounds. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's helped and participated and puts up with my phone calls. Thank you to the community. I just would like to take a moment to ask our community members if they're watching and you have sidewalks that need to be shoveled, please help us in cleaning those sidewalks. If you have elderly neighbors that you know that can't, we could give a hand to them, because as you know, we have many walkers that come in on a daily basis, and the last thing we want to see is kids walking in the streets when they're messy. So I just wanted to start the meeting with a thank you to all of our highway department, our maintenance department, for navigating through these snowstorms with us, and just asking the community for their continued support and helping us take care of our kids. So that's how I wanted to start tonight. The first thing on my report is a personnel update. I have no new retirements at this time. I am happy to say we did have a couple more new hires. We hired an Eric Vasquez. He is a paraprofessional at Park Ave Elementary, and Demiana Tekla, an ABA at Park Ave. We did recently have a resignation, a Jesse Brusso, who is an ABA at Park Ave, and we have no transfers to announce at this time. As you can see, our shortages are still instructional assistants and ABAs, but we continue to look and post for those positions. Is there any question about personnel? No? Okay. Moving on, under management and operations, in your packet, this evening you have a copy of the school year calendar. It is a first draft. It is only a draft. It's not out. I'm not looking for approval or anything this evening. It is the first attempt. There were no real major changes in the calendar. I did want to point out that if you look at the month of October, the 13th, that is a school committee meeting, but I couldn't change the color of it to a green because it's also a professional development day, and we couldn't split the cells. So there is a meeting on that day. Over Christmas break, we have a shorter break. This year we were lucky with a 2-week break. We were back to our traditional week and a half break. Contractually, this meets all of our obligations. In our WEA contract, there is a clause that says that we cannot start more than a week before Labor Day. So that would put us starting on August 31st with an end date in June at the June 21st. So that would have us going a little later. So it's just there for your review, there to have time to digest it, ask any questions. I did have an email out to the WEA asking if they had any interest in moving it up, the start date, to the week before. what we're contractually obligated to, and I'm waiting to hear back. And if that is, that would shift our calendar by about 3 days up. So I will be bringing a final calendar to the next meeting for your approval, but I wanted you to have time to digest it, to look it over, to make any suggestions, thoughts, comments, take any feedback. I'm happy to have it. Any questions or thoughts? You certainly take your time. If there's nothing tonight, you can always email me with any thoughts or changes that I can have prepared for next meeting. Okay? Next I have on Thursday, Dr. Mackay and I welcome the Associate Commissioner, Shami Curry, to the district. She was scheduled to be in for a few hours on that day, and she was going to do some walkthroughs with us at the high school and the middle school. She did abbreviate her visit to us. She was here to speak about what's happening in the district and what kind of support can the state give us in Webster. As you know, there's a lot of changes going on at the state level with the new commissioner and his vision coming in, and they are working through those changes. We also had a phone call with the deputy commissioner, Rob Curtin, on Friday to talk about some things going on at the state level. So they're asking superintendents to sit tight right now for a few weeks, and then they'll be coming out and giving us some more information on what they envision the future of education and some acceleration for some districts in the community. So it's kind of a hurry up and wait, where we're introducing something new, and then we'll get back to you in a few weeks about that. So I'll bring you more information as soon as I have it. Any questions about that? No? Dr. Mackay is here, and she will be giving an update on access testing and some SEL work and some TFM work that's going on in the district. Dr. Mackay?
Good evening, thank you. Just so everyone knows, access testing is going on. We are, if I look at the tests, most schools are about halfway. The testing window closes February 27th, which did give us an additional week this year as opposed to prior years. This will help us complete makeups and also spread the load on students who might have finals. If they're in a semester class at Bartlett, they might be completing other benchmarks. And all of these things happen around the same time as access testing. A reminder for parents that I would like to send out this message is, like, please send them to school on time so that we can complete the access testing and avoid unnecessary makeups or unfinished submissions, which is sometimes the case. So on time, regularly would be great. We have some grants that we have a few grants this year, so we've clustered them into the SEL grants and then the title grants, the ESSA grants. So tonight I'll be talking with you about the SEL grants. We did receive, and it was finally confirmed at the end of September. Closer? I thought I was putting it really close. It's on, yep. The SEL grants, we finally got approval the end of December for the Rethinking Discipline grant, which is a good chunk of money. It's $75,000. In addition, we received the Safe and Supportive Schools grant for $10,000, which is a planning document, a planning work grant, which will feed the work, the activity that we're planning to utilize some of the funding through the Rethinking Discipline grant to set up the system so that we can implement it next year. We also have TAG, which is our Targeted Assistance Grant related to our accountability status, and that is $40,000. And some of the Title IV funds are similar in nature to these grants. So we just had a meeting on the snow day. We just had a meeting to talk about any potential overlaps, because as you know, there was so much uncertainty with funding at the end of last year, much like this year. And so when there were opportunities for us to apply for grants, we applied for grants. we got them all. And so now we're all in these cohorts for like multiple things. And now there's some overlaps in some of the grants. So what we were able to do was say, we have this covered under one, this covered under Title IV. So now we're making a list of potential revisions with the grants that we need to. So that'll be really important. We're looking for additional ways to support students, to support staff, administrators, families in the SEL world, anything that we can do in the social emotional world. The overall grants review is next, where we'll be conducting a mid-year review to see what revisions are needed in Titles 1, 2, 3, and some of 4. And one of the reasons to do that is we've had an unprecedented number of maternity leaves and other vacancies where some Title I academic interventionists had been pulled to cover some of those positions to maintain consistency in classrooms. And with Title I funding, if you are not doing primarily Title I, you cannot be funded through Title I, which now leaves a little bit of a surplus in Title I. Not a surplus, but we have unspent, we didn't anticipate not spending those on salaries. So now we can't go into FY27 with more than 15% overage in Title I. And so we have to figure out what we need to do to get us down to the 15% by the end of the year, so that we can reallocate that money. So that's part of the work that we have to do. We also had a transfer from Title I to ELL. So that's also another like half-year salary that is no longer expendable in the salary line in Title I and now moves over to LEA for ELL. A Title I teacher became an L teacher following the retirement of one of the L teachers. We have been able to identify one of the areas that I'm excited about that Mrs. Nieves will talk about as well, which is we were able to use some of the funds to develop a new class. It's not really a new class, it's an old new class. We had it before, then it went away, and now we have it back to address some of the literacy needs of students who are struggling in their English classes. Not English classes, meaning like their English content classes, not ELL. And so we have created like a forced elective class where we're providing literacy support to those students for a myriad of reasons. Maybe it was their last MCAS score, their last iReady, their attendance, chronic absences or tardies, their current English grade. And so we're asking, I actually met with the 2 sections today for their first day and shared with the students their individualized scores. And also ask students to think about, like, why would you have been referred? Why would you have been asked to be in this class? And we're here to support you. We want to see kids get to the finish line. But is there something that you see in your data that could be contributing to having some difficulty in your English class, whether it's coming to school late, whether it's not completing assignments, whether it's rushing through or whatever. And students had to make a commitment. They had to identify that. I think for some students, it was really eye-opening, like, that's how I did on iReady. Like, I'm in 10th grade and I scored at the 4th grade level or the 3rd grade level because I rushed through it or I didn't take it seriously. So really helping students take ownership for their part in their instruction. And that's grants. Are there any questions about grants before I move on? Okay. As Mrs. Perangeli said, we have TFM, which is tiered focused monitoring, coming up in the next school year. We are slammed with TFM for next year. We have one type of TFM happening in special education. We also are in TFM for both Title I and ELL, and brought me back to the day I was hired to come up to central office. And it's like, welcome to central office, and you're in TFM for Title I and ELL. And so great learning that took place, when you're in self-assessment and you're learning about all of the elements that DESE evaluates. It was a great way for me to enter the world up here in central office, but here we are again. It's our 6-year review. So we'll be doing that. As part of the L portion of the TFM, we actually have to do a self-assessment, and that's not in FY '25, that '27. That's by the end of this year. So we'll be engaging in some of the work. In fact, some of the L teachers, 3 of the L teachers and myself have been engaging in DESI's cohort called the Next Generation ESL Curriculum Project, because one of the elements that is most frequently identified in need of corrective action across the state in the last 3 or 4 years has been the element related to curriculum. And so we're working really hard in a preemptive way so that we're ready for that part of TFM and at the end of this year and all throughout next year. And that is the tiered focus monitoring work that we'll be engaging in. It's very busy, but good learning. Tells us a lot about how we're doing.
Absolutely, and that was some of the feedback that we had given the state when they came in. When the associate commissioner came in, she was like, what are some of the things that you could consider challenges? And when we started saying, well, all the initiatives that we are participating in or that we are being asked to participating in, along with the reviews that come with being in education, we could rattle off like 5 or 6 things that we were participating in that take time. And when we're a small district, not like a city, you have multiple peoples who attend those. We are a very small group, so one person could be involved in 4 things. And the offices don't always talk to one another. So, you know, you could be in a meeting one day in the same, at the same time, there's a meeting going on for another thing that you have to participate in, and you can't divide yourself. So how do you pick and choose? And you know how it is, I always say this, you know, one of my big mantras coming on board was to keep things simple. Simple and steady, right? When you're involved in so many things, you're not doing anything really well. And our goal is to focus on instruction and do that really well and not pull us away from that. So she, you know, she was really surprised by the amount of things that we were actually participating in and doing. And she thought it was great feedback. And she's like, you're not the first district that I've heard that from. I've heard it from others. So, you know, it would be nice if these like districts could get together and collaborate with one another. So that was, thank you for that report. Yeah, I appreciate it. Do you have any questions for Dr. McKay?
Any questions from the committee?
No?
No?
Okay.
Does that conclude your report? Yes? Just checking.
It does.
Okay, well, thank you. Thanks for the updates. Sounds like a full circle moment coming back to TFM, excuse me, yeah. Okay.
It's always a great way to train. I know when our new food service director had started a few years ago, same thing. She came into the district in an audit year, and I just said, absorb everything, because you're just going to learn how to do it from right off the jump, from the right way in the compliance. So this is a learning. So it's a wonderful way to actually acclimate yourself to your position and set you up for success. So.
Thank you.
And then, moving on, in your packets, I added, for your review, just for your information, I had reported last time that I was attending the CMC board meeting and the Southern Worcester Collaborative meeting. I put those agendas in there for you, just for your information. And then, as you know, on January 20th, we had a district-wide professional development. I put the agendas in your packet, so you have those to see. As we do always, we collect feedback on the professional development that is happening across the district and make adjustments as needed. So we are doing that for our upcoming March PD. And then lastly, I did not have this on the agenda, but I just wanted to show off my assistant's hard work that's been happening in our office. As you know, we have been working on our policies and getting those updated and revamping what we have on our website. So there is now an actual working copy on our website. We are still tweaking, but if you go to menu and you go to our district, and then under our district, you can go to school committee. And then you go down. School committee. And then you will see our policy manual here. And then it is now broken down by section. Before it was just a big PDF document that you had to scroll through. So now you can click on the section and actually pull up the policy and look at the policy, and you can do that one by one. We're still in works because right now a PDF is not translatable, so we are working on another section to put it, so this will all be translatable into multiple different languages. But this has been ongoing for some time. As you can see, this takes a lot of time. And it took a lot of work by Erica Alvarez in the office. But now we have the ability to go in, to update one at a time, to keep things, make things searchable, easily able to find things, and make changes on the fly. So I just wanted you to know that this is public, it's out there. We are updating as we go through and approve. They are added and replaced and removed if needed, and we will continue this moving forward. But I wanted you to know that this is live, and we are working on the version that we can translate. So once that's there, we'll be adding that or replacing this. So all of our community members have access to the document. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Pranjali. Any questions or comments from the committee for Mrs. Pranjali?
Through the chair.
Member Caleros?
I just wanted to say thank you for doing that. That's really a big undertaking. It's a real tedious work, but it's so much more user-friendly. And I think what you keep saying about working smarter, not harder, this is going to change it for the coming years and make it so much easier moving forward. And I just think, that was great that you put that much work into it.
Thank you.
Yeah, agree. Thanks. If there's no other comments or questions, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is the business manager report. Good evening, Mrs. Contos.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to get started with update on the renovation project. Most notably is giving you an update on where we've landed with the schedule now that Phase 2 has been moved from February to the April break. We did receive confirmation back from the project team that Phase 3 now will move from October to November. However, that will not impact the final end date for Phase 4, which is in 2027. That will remain the same. As a reminder, Phase 4 includes the removal of the modular classrooms and then the site work where those classrooms are to redo that into a parking lot. There are some other miscellaneous items, some sidewalk work that happens as well. And in discussions today, hearing that that's when the playground for preschool will also be done in that phase, as well as all of the EV charging stations will be installed in Phase 4. So again, that end date's not moving, but we are moving Phase 3 from October to November, and that was factored into some of the planning with the school calendar as well. So we're still having some more conversations that pushes out the need to use the modulars longer. That cost will actually be assumed by the general contractor as a result of moving that out. That's not something that we'll be responsible for. But progress continues in Section B. They're working on all of the finished work in there, getting ready to install some technology with our wireless access points, getting that lined up, as well as, again, putting in flooring, getting in the partitions in the bathroom. So it's all moving right along. But we'll continue to watch this as we move into the next phase and as we prepare for the move in April. Any questions? All right, I have a couple things under, oh, sorry.
No, that's okay, not a
Oh,
question.
I wasn't looking.
Just a comment, that's okay. Great news that the general contractor is going to be absorbing the cost of those modulars, because that had the potential to really be costly for us.
Yep.
So, great work there. And pleased to see that the final date will remain the same, and it looks like we're catching up a month from Phase 2 to Phase 3. So we're 2 months behind at the end of Phase 2 and only 1 month behind at Phase 3, and then we catch up at the end.
Yep.
So that's
Absolutely.
great.
Yep.
Thanks.
Then in other updates, one thing I wanted to mention is on the budget calendar for this year, we inadvertently had the governor's budget coming out last Wednesday, and it's actually coming out tomorrow. So just wanted to point out that correction, but we did get some preliminary information from MASBO about what's anticipated to see in that budget. So I wanted to share just a couple of the key things that would impact us mostly. We're hearing that the budget proposal is fully funding the final year of the Student Opportunity Act with $7.6 billion in Chapter 70 aid. That's going to represent a $242 million increase over fiscal year '26 is what we're hearing. And that's going to guarantee for those districts that are only getting minimum aid, that they'll get that $75 per child in that aid there. There's some other things impacting rural school aid, but most notably that I think is interesting is Healy's also requesting an additional $154.3 million to reimburse school districts for a portion of transportation cost. I don't know what goes with that and what the fine print is around that. Now, it wasn't specifically, there is some comment about regional transportation, but we're not sure if that's all of it, so we're waiting to see those details to come out. And the other interesting point is special education circuit breaker is being fully funded again this year at $802.7 million. So that'll allow for a full phase-in of reimbursements of out-of-district costs, as well as hopefully being able to cover some transportation moving into next year. But again, we got to wait till it's formally released. We see what all the details are around that, and then what that translates into once we see the preliminary numbers for Chapter 70 aid.
Once we clarification, that's at the 75%, which is what we budget.
Yes, so fully funding doesn't mean covering all the costs. It means covering up to the threshold that we talked about at our last meeting.
That we budget.
Yeah. Yep. Any questions?
I could just
Sure.
clarify something. If I go back to the.
Oh, we keep forgetting.
Just going back to the project completion and the November deadline, depending on when November, because I don't know that we have an actual date in November yet. If it's later in November after Thanksgiving, we're not going to have a long time to move. It takes time to move in, and you can't do it over a weekend. So that could push out to the December. So even though right now we're hoping it's only a month, we don't know that it's going to be a month. It could be a December, depending on the time frame of November. So I just want to make sure that we're clear and transparent about that.
Yeah, I think they're hopeful that it'll be ready for a move over the Thanksgiving week, but again, schedules change, so we're going to remain hopeful that it stays on track for now.
Yeah, and that's helpful to understand that although the project, that phase of the project may be completed, we haven't moved in yet, but that does mean that the workers will have moved on to the next phase of that project.
They can't
Correct.
unless we're out.
Oh, right.
Mhm.
So very hopeful that we'll be able to move over the Thanksgiving break.
Well, except that some of the work that they're doing, they may be able to do some of the work in advance. Some things that might have been in sequence at a different point, there could be some items. Again, it all depends. The GC wants us to be out.
Yes.
So let's hope that they stay aggressive over the summer and that they fully manage all of their dependencies and that we don't have any unforeseen conditions in this section of the building.
Okay, thanks.
Any questions? All right. Last note, I have some good news to report regarding transportation. And today we launched a bus that comes from Webster Middle School and Park Ave and is able to bring our students to the Girls and Boys Club in Dudley after school. That's really exciting. This is expected to continue for the rest of the school year and likely into next year, and this is as a result of the Fells Foundation, so a great big thank you to Jerry and Marilyn Fells. They're a big supporter of the Boys and Girls Club, and they helped facilitate that some of the donations that they've given to the club would be allocated towards this transportation for the students within Webster. So really thank you to them. They've continued to be just such great supporters of the community, and we really want to thank Ian Nugent, who's the director at the Boys and Girls Club, for really the collaboration that he's done with us to help get this launched. I think this is an incredible service that we're providing to our students. It's certainly launched right now for people who are members and students who are members, but they've had a long waiting list for people to join. And now that we have the buses, they'll probably be able to open up membership to more students because we will have the capacity now on the buses to bring the students there, whereas when we were just using small vans, it just wasn't feasible. So that's really good news for the community. Any questions? That's it for my report for this evening.
Thank you for your updates, Mrs. Contos. And thank you, of course, to the Fells Foundation for making the transportation more accessible for our students. I know the Boys and Girls Club is a destination for a lot of young kids in our district, so great to hear that there'll be more opportunities for kids to get there after school. The next item, by the way, any other questions or comments from the committee for Mrs. Contos? No? The next item on the agenda is the principal report, and joining us this evening is Mrs. Gina Nieves from Bartlett High School. Good evening.
Good evening. All right, I don't have a ton because what we wanted to talk about the weather wrecked one of the things, and it's happening right now. So we were hoping to present the Big Brother Big Sister Award that we had received. It was supposed to be last night, but because of the weather, it's being held tonight. So we'll push that forward to the next time, so you can see what the students, all their hard work, what they did and what they earned. I was also hoping to have back by now our NEASC draft report from the NEASC visit, and I spoke to our liaison, and they're not finished. I don't know if that's good news or bad news. They were hopeful before Christmas break, and then they said right after Christmas break, and they're still not finished. So that's on its way. Ms. Peterson last meeting talked about her CSDP visit, which is that Center for School and District Partnership visit that she had. Bartlett High School's is the week after February break coming up, so we'll have that soon. We have a couple big family engagement events coming up. We have our community bingo night in February and also another Papagino's fundraiser for the senior class coming up in February. And we had several student events and opportunities that have just happened or right on the horizon. We had a district choir audition and concert, and one of our students took part in that and was recognized. That's Louis Shevchuk. They just also went to the a cappella festival this past weekend, waiting on their report for that. Our Quincy College Decision Day was supposed to be today. That's been moved also because of the snow. And we have a senior breakfast coming up for this. This is new for us. We usually only do one at the beginning, but we have those kids in limbo that transition from juniors to seniors at the half. So we wanted to make sure that they can participate in all the senior events. So we have another one coming up at the end of January. I have a few more things that'll come up later under new business as far as courses. And then my team is here to talk about something else in the new business as well. So that's all I have for my report tonight.
Sounds like a lot going on. Just a quick question. When you mentioned that we have students that are transitioning from junior to senior partway through the year, can you explain that a little bit?
So when they finished in January, just at the end of semester one, they were able to make the credits to be eligible to graduate. So they're finished with their courses and they have the opportunity to receive their diploma now or still walk with our students and participate in all the senior events in June. So we have a small handful of students that have finished Friday of last week.
Seniors, and then some students that are juniors that became seniors at this time?
Typically, if they're able to move from juniors to seniors and finish in June, they'll move. Other than that, they usually remain under that realm of juniors until the end of the school year, knowing that they're seniors, but they don't participate in the senior events until their full senior year.
Okay. Great. Questions or comments from the committee for Ms. Nieves? No? It doesn't sound like there's any questions. Thank you for your updates and for all the great things that are happening over at Bartlett.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see the award for the Big Brothers Big Sisters
know.
too. We'll have to wait
Yep.
a little
They're
bit
there
longer.
now, so.
We have some staff there with them.
Yep.
So we have
Yeah.
the Smallers
Great.
and
Um,
Sahutsky, right?
Yep, from the elementary school also went.
Where are they? Are they at like a location somewhere? Or they're not at Park Ave? They're
No,
somewhere
they're
else?
they're at a
It's a bank, right? It's
Yes, I believe it is. It's the Cornerstone Bank.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, great, okay. Can't wait to hear all about it.
I will let you know.
Good deal.
Thank you.
If there are no other questions for Ms. Nieves, I'm just going to take another item on the agenda a little bit out of order. And that's an item under new business, the discussion of an international student travel opportunity at Bartlett High School. We have some guests joining us this evening.
They have teacher voices, so they should be okay.
Oh, okay. So thank you for listening to us today. I am Jolene Zogdedamero. I'm an English teacher at Bartlett High School. Joining me is Ms. Bodette, who is our instructional coach and has been here for many years. We are hoping you should have a packet about the tours. So peruse that at your own time. But what we are proposing is in 2 years, being able to bring a group of students to Costa Rica during April vacation. So there might be a day or two on either end because of weather, but the idea would be that students would not miss any classroom time in order to go on this trip. This international trip will be the first ones in many years. Prior to us trying to do this now, students had gone to Costa Rica on a very similar tour using EF Tours, and in the past, EF Tours has been used to also go to Europe with Ms. Bodette. So the trip would be coordinated through EF Tours and would include round-trip airfare, 6 nights of hotel accommodations, and daily breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The program also provides a full-time tour director, entrance fees to scheduled attractions, and guided sightseeing tours by licensed local guides. Planned experience include a coffee tour, a pineapple tour, I think that sounds exciting, a chocolate tour, visits to Arenal Volcano National Park, along with a couple of other natural reserves and national parks in Costa Rica, zip lining, a salsa class. In addition to sort of the cost included in that would be the global travel protection plans, general liability insurance for all travelers, and 24/7 emergency support throughout the duration of the trip. Through this experience, our students will develop essential skills to be participants in the world economy. This would include cultural awareness, adaptability, self-awareness, communication, and collaboration. EF Tours also supports students and families by offering an automatic monthly payment plan and online fundraising pages to help offset costs. So at this point in time, by beginning the trip 2 years in advance for the international timeline, they'll have plenty of time to spread out payments over a 2-year period. At this time, the estimate is $3,779 per student, approximately $137 a month, and $4,419 for adults, approximately $161 a month. The trip requires a 6-to-1 student-to-chaperone ratio, with 1 chaperone traveling at no cost for every 6 students. Due to this free or reduced cost to chaperones, we have submitted the required disclosure for appointed public employee of free or discounted travel or admission in accordance with GLC 268A. In addition to the international opportunity, we're also exploring the incorporation of a yearly domestic trip for seniors, beginning with the class of 2028. A separate proposal outlining this domestic trip will be submitted in the future. So right now, we're really excited about this opportunity to bring our students down to Costa Rica and bring back international travel to Bartlett High School. Ms. Bodette, do you have anything to add? So it will be offered to the class of 2028 through the class of 2031. So our plan would be to also, once approved, go to the middle school and let parents there know that this is an upcoming opportunity that they can also grab onto, which would also help with keeping students in our district and making a Bartlett High School the best choice for them and their family. Any questions?
Any questions from the committee? Comments?
Through the chair.
Member Scariglia?
So just so I'm understanding, so 2031, so in 2 years, so those are seventh graders going to be ninth graders?
Yes.
So ninth graders do have the opportunity to go on this trip.
Yes.
And have you reached out to like students or done like a vibe check on like, are kids gonna are like kids showing interest in doing something like this?
So we have a time frame where we're going to meet with all of the grade levels to get their interest. There is no minimum requirement with EF tours for how many students we would take with us. There's also no maximum. They will adjust their tour guides based on how many students we plan on bringing. So that's our next step after today.
So if 2 students sign up, a chaperone would have to pay for their airfare and their trip. It would need the 6 for a chaperone to be free.
Yes, so it's a reduced rate based upon how many students are in that group.
And these international trips, I believe the last one was Paris. I know it was a Notre Dame situation, right?
Yeah.
Which was sort of, started off as a great experience, and I think the chaperones did the best that they could to take a difficult situation and make it really memorable in positive ways for kids. But those were pretty well attended, weren't they?
I believe we had 11 students on that trip because that's the trip that I had gone on with Melissa Doherty. Yeah, there was 11 of us because I paid the reduced rate as the additional chaperone.
Okay. It's great to bring that back. What year was that? Do you recall?
2019.
Yeah. And then, yeah, COVID and everything else, so.
Chair, if I could add?
Yeah.
My daughter had the luxury of going in, I think, 2016 or 17 to Spain, and there was a pretty large group that went that year, and
Can you
It
turn
was-
on your, or speak loudly, maybe? Sorry, I'm getting some feedback from the man behind the door.
It's a great experience for the students to go internationally and get that experience. I think even just the independence, being away from their parents, having to navigate in another country, getting a sense of what different cultures are like, it really enriches the experience that you have during your high school years. And then there's some incredible bonding that happens when you go on those trips. So I personally, hearing this coming back as an opportunity is fabulous. It's a great offering, and I think it's very attractive for the school. Speaking as a parent, not as a business manager.
Through the chair?
Member Caleros?
I think it's great that you're doing that, and I think that it is going to provide an excellent opportunity for the students to see another culture, to travel. Some of the, a lot of students haven't really traveled outside the country before, so it might be their first taste of that. And I just wanted to thank you for doing that, because these programs don't happen until people start to research it, put things together, plan. I mean, it's a lot of work, and so, but it's amazing to get for the students. And so I just want to thank you for even, attempting to get this started, where I know everything stopped during COVID. It's nice to see things like this coming back for the kids.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Through the chair, sorry.
Member Scariglia?
I feel like in the past, we had to take a foreign language when I went, but that's not the case now. You don't have to be a part of a foreign language group to go.
We did not put this requirement on this trip, no.
Is there any academic or behavioral requirements considered on students who can attend?
I think right now we're just trying to,
Get the vibe check.
yeah, and see where we're at, and then sit down further with Ms. Nieves on further details.
I too think it's a great idea and a great opportunity to expose our students to the wide world that's out there. I think all too often, folks in this country grow up living in a small corner of the world and never really have the opportunity to see and feel what it is to be somewhere different, where maybe they feel like they're the different one because of their language or their culture or their background, and they have the opportunity to expand their horizons and maybe learn a little bit about what it's like to be a newcomer somewhere. I know that as far as a vibe check, I have a very small focus group that I'm privy to, and vibes are strong. People are excited. There's already some buzz about the possibility of an international trip, so I think that there will be definitely interest. So really looking forward to it. And I know we have the social and academic probation stuff, and I'm not looking to create barriers to entry. I know that that's something that you all will undoubtedly think through when the time comes, but I know that there are ways to, I think this is a great opportunity for students to have something more to look forward to and to work toward, and sometimes that makes a big difference for students. So, very exciting. And are you both planning on chaperoning this trip?
Yes.
Is that the thought? Thank you. That's a big commitment. It's a big, I can still think back to any of the trips that I've chaperoned and counting to 6 dozens of times during the day, or 8, or however many kids I had. Taking a group of students to another country is a huge undertaking, and really appreciate you both being willing to think this through and make that journey.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments from the committee? Excited to hear where it leads. Who's coming back to tell us about the domestic trip?
That would be me.
Oh, great.
So
Okay.
the plan is on January 30th to have the students vote for one of 5 locations, rank their top 5, and I'll meet back with EF Tours to figure out the best choices based on price and location.
Yeah, great. Very nice. All right, looking forward.
I was very excited when they brought this idea forward because it's something that I think has been missing. Such a wonderful opportunity for our kids. My son also went in his high school years, and it was something he still remembers to this day. So thank you both for putting this forward and doing this. It's very much appreciated. I'm excited for our kids.
Yeah, me too. If there's no further discussion, I will entertain a motion to approve this international student travel opportunity at Bartlett High School.
So moved.
Second?
There's a motion and a second. Desiree, would you please poll the committee?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Thank you both. Looking forward to hearing how we can support the fundraising activities or any other things that you all have going on, logistically speaking, that we can support you with.
Thank you for your time and approval.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for your dedication. And our next item on the agenda is an update from our student representative, who is a fantastic athlete and I think busy once again with his athletic endeavors this evening. Is that right?
That is
Yeah, he
correct.
sure was, yeah.
Ms.
So I do
Davis?
have his
Something
report
tells me
again.
he wouldn't have mentioned that though, but with Ms. Nieves here, maybe we'll hear about it.
You will. So he says he will be at the next one. This is their last track meet, I believe. All right. So for his positives, he says the end of the quarter 2 is the positive for him right now. And he doesn't have any challenges. He says all is going well. He talks about several engagement events and opportunities. The Fun Friday Trivia is always fun. He noted that this week, Amira Siddiqui actually won the trivia. It was 4 questions, and they had to get them all right, and she won that one. Right now, PBIS has a weekly raffle for the month of January, so the students can drop their Bartlett bucks in at lunchtime for they're getting a McDonald's gift card every Friday throughout the month of January. So this week coming up is the last one. Eric said that there was a group of 7 students that just earned their MACWIC Level 1 certification in our new Manufacturing Foundations course. And there will be a graduation ceremony held on May 15th at 1 o'clock for that. We'll put that on so you know what that is. He also recognized Louis Shevchuk for being chosen to perform at the Massachusetts Music Educators Association Central District Senior Festival Concert last week. he talks about, they started a new theme for all of the home basketball games. So this past week, I believe, was whiteout in the stands. I'm not sure what this upcoming is. I haven't heard it yet. And we also just had an open audition call for a spring showcase. And that's a talent show, Bartlett's talent show. So the drama club is the group that's trying to get this off the ground. So we'll see how that goes. He talked about coming up, the WIDA access testing is going to continue. He also mentioned those 2 family events, the bingo and the egg hunt that I spoke about. And then all of the sports, congratulations. So he wants to do a big shout out to Lauren Smith and Tyler Whiting for being selected to the MHS FCA All-State Football Divisional All-Star Team. Jay Sean Atkins was also selected as honorable mention. Eric spoke about the JV and varsity basketball game against, that there was one against Blacksfoot BMR last week. And then the track. Eric was set the BHS indoor high jump record with a personal best jump of 5 feet 10 inches, tying for the highest jump overall in the event. In the dash, he spoke about Xavier Saffo placing 3rd overall in the 55-meter dash. And then there were many personal bests over the last 2 meets for both middle school and high school students. And then he has one senior class update, and that is for the kids to keep their eyes on the scholarships every week. New scholarships are being added. They're posted in the newsletter. He just said to keep their eyes on those. And that's all for his report.
Lots happening.
Yes.
No challenges listed. That's
None.
good.
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments for Principal Nieves? No? Well, thank you for your updates.
Thank you.
And let's see here. The next item on the agenda under old business is an FY27 budget update. Now, I understand we probably don't have a beefy update since we're waiting on those numbers coming tomorrow, but
Exactly. We have nothing new for you to review tonight. We're waiting for numbers to come out behind the scenes. We are working on multiple budget projections and updates, versions of budgets. So I am hoping that within the next week or 2 that I could schedule a meeting with the subcommittee so that we can sit down and have some conversations. So I will be reaching out to Ms. Millett and Mr. Adamopoulos to get something on the books that we can start talking about. And then once we have updated numbers and we have an opportunity to sit down and have deeper conversations with the town, we hope to really refine some financial presentations for you at the next meeting.
The other thing that we're working on as well, in conjunction with this, which will get submitted to the town, is our transportation projections specifically for special education. So we actually met last week to review all of the runs that we have to get confirmation about whether or not we have people that we're aware of that are either aging out, going to move, any changes that are being made. So we did a deep dive on that. And then we're going to be moving forward with getting that first projection done, then doing a review of that before we prepare a submission to the town, because that is an impacted area. That's a shared cost as well.
thank you for the updates. Anxiously anticipating that budget tomorrow and some more numbers. Sounds like we'll have a much more robust conversation at our next meeting, right? Okay.
Yeah, I think governor budget comes out, and then DESI needs to release the preliminary Chapter 70 numbers. So that's what the governor's budget kicks that off, and then we wait for them to release those files, and that gives us a good indication of where we stand, at least at this point.
Any thoughts on the timeline for the Chapter 70?
Couple days.
Okay.
It's usually pretty good. We look back, there's only 1 year in 2023 that it didn't come out until the 3rd week of February. So typically it's around this time frame. So it should be, I'm guessing by Friday is what I'm hopeful for.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Any questions or comments from the committee about the budget? All right. Well, hearing none, the next several items on our agenda are policy related. And want to once again express appreciation for all the work that's being done on these policies. I'm going to read each of them individually, all of the second and final readings, so that if there's any discussion about them, it can be handled. The first is policy DA, fiscal management goals. And I'll pause after each one for any questions or comments, and if I don't hear any, I'll proceed. The next is policy DB, annual budget. That's also the second and final reading. Policy DBC, budget deadlines and schedules. Policy DGA, authorized signatures, also second and final reading. Policy DJ, purchasing, second and final reading. Policy DK, payment procedures, second and final reading. And policy JFA, CTE school admissions. That's also a second and final reading. No motion there? Just a reading? Okay. So the next item is the removal of about 5 policies here. These will all be second and final readings. Policy DBH, Statement of Assurances. Policy DBI, Budget Operations and Control, also a second and final reading. Policy DID, Annual Inventory, second and final reading. Policy DJB, Vendor Relations, second and final reading. And policy DKB, Payroll Deductions. That's the last second and final reading on those policies. And those policies are being removed. They're no longer necessary. Questions or comments about those?
We don't need a vote.
We didn't do a vote on the policies that were amended or added.
We did.
You said previously, though?
For the final reading?
Not last week on these, on the last batch.
Oh, I see. So we'll,
Not on these, so after the final reading.
okay. So I will entertain a motion to approve the policies that have been amended or updated and the 5 policies that are being removed.
So moved.
Second?
There's a motion and a second. Desiree, would you please pull the committee?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. The next item on the agenda under new business is the FY25 Central Mass Collaborative Financial Audit.
Thank you. In your packet, you have a copy of the audit that is there for your review. It is just for your information. The collaborative is doing a great job, and they are meeting all the standards. So this is just for your information.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the committee regarding the financial audit? Okay, hearing none. The next item on the agenda is the discussion and approval of the capital improvement plan for FY27.
Okay, in your packet is the capital improvement program. This is a process that we do annually, as well as every other town department, looking at capital needs across multiple years. This list will remove any items that we've previously submitted for funding and have been approved at town meeting. So what we have on the list in front of you are some items we've been carrying for a few years now that we haven't moved forward for funding on, but we do have 3 new items that we've added to the list this year. And it's all related to equipment needs that are needed at the 3 schools. So for Park Avenue, we're adding 2 new burnishers for cleaning the floors. The existing ones that we have are 11 years old now, and we're consistently having issues with the level deck to stay level as they're cleaning, so it's doing some spotty cleaning across the floor despite ongoing maintenance of those. At Webster Middle School, looking to get a new tractor with a blade and a mower deck to support our snow plowing as well as mowing. What we do have right now is 20 years old. It's been very well maintained, but as we start getting into winters and moving snow like we do with aging equipment, we're at risk of those breaking. In fact, Bartlett had an issue with at the end of the other day with a piece that did break off, that they were able to go out and get some parts and repair it themselves this morning. And then lastly, at Bartlett, we're looking to get a zero-turn lawnmower. We currently use our tractor to do the mowing across the facility, but now we have a lot more grass with the campus renovation and the landscaping. And these zero-turn lawnmowers actually increase your mowing speed, so that's particularly helpful now that we have more ground to cover for mowing. So those are 3 new items that we'd be looking to bring forward to the town and potentially looking to request those in fiscal year '27 if we're moving forward with funding those capital projects across the town. Any questions about the list and the new items that have been added in this fiscal year?
Any questions or comments from the committee? Well, I certainly know that some of these items have been on our list for quite some time, and we haven't had the funding to be able to have them come to reality. Some of those things would be the track in particular, and then, of course, the tennis courts and the basketball courts, which, by the way, have been really well maintained, but it's a matter of,
We are doing the short-term fixes on those this year. We did get approval at town meeting last year, so we're targeting this spring for that. So just as a reminder, we went forward with a lower cost option to do the Band-Aid fix on those by sealing those cracks and getting that repaired.
right, when do we expect that to be completed?
We're hoping to target it by March so that it's ready for the season.
Oh, great,
Yeah, we should be going into bid in the next couple weeks.
great, okay.
The other one on there that we're going to do a little bit more work over the next year is working with a few companies to consult with them to really understand the roof replacement or roof maintenance. Like, really, where should we be focusing? Is this one of those items that, while the roof is out of maintenance, are there ways to chunk this up in a way that's more manageable in terms of how we look to secure and maintain that roof?
You said out of maintenance, but I think you meant out of warranty, right? I just
Oh,
want to
yeah, I
correct it
did
for the
mean to say out of
record.
warranty. Yes, I did. Thank
Okay,
you.
Sure, yeah, no, just. wanted to
Thinking
make sure for
warranty,
those
my mouth said
listening.
maintenance.
Yeah, it's been maintained, it's just the warranty is up.
Right, exactly. But, that's when we actually have to stay on top of it, right? And,
Right.
and really manage whether or not we'd be doing patching in certain areas. Like, what's the best way to approach that? Because we certainly don't want to end up in a situation where we have leaks that can lead to other issues within the building. So that's an area that I'd like to be able to dive into a little bit more to understand how to better structure something like that.
Okay. And just another question about Park Ave, the playground and lawn settlement, that's a safety concern?
It's a safety concern in sort of those areas that settle because we don't, based on everything we've seen so far, we don't think that's going to let go. But it does grow if it continues to settle. Could that become an area of instability over
Is this
time?
in the front of the building where the
Actually, in
swings
both
are?
areas,
Oh, okay,
front and back, but mostly in the back. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, out the back entrance,
Where the
The
playscape is?
playground. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the FY27 capital improvement plan.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Desiree, would you please pull the committee?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Thank you to the whole team that worked so hard on putting this together and prioritizing things. The next item on the agenda is the FY27 Chapter 70 funding formula overview.
Skip over that.
We're going to skip over that because of
Yeah.
the timing? Okay. So moving right along, the next item on the agenda after that is the discussion and possible approval of an out-of-state field trip for the Webster Middle School 7th and 8th grade band and chorus to Six Flags New England and to a nearby school for a performance. That's exactly how my kids would put it too, Six Flags and also a performance. But really, it's the performance, right? And then that's
Exactly.
the carrot at the end of the stick there, going to Six Flags.
Exactly. Yes, in the past, we have the request for in-state, but as you know, the school committee needs to approve out-of-state field trips. They don't get the date or the location until they get closer to the event. So in the past, they've been placed in Connecticut before. So she's just being very proactive, so we're not last minute coming to you, last minute looking. So she's requesting permission to go to the performance if it's out of state also. That's why we're here.
Great. Any questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve this potential out-of-state field trip as presented.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Desiree, would you please pull the committee?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, motion passes.
Thank you. And I appreciate Ms. Pacheco being thoughtful in advance, so we're not bringing something last minute. So I appreciate that.
Agree. And that's another one of those field trips that's very well attended and looked forward to for all the band and chorus kids.
Absolutely.
And the next item on the agenda is the discussion and approval of 2 additional courses for the second semester at Bartlett High School.
All right. Like Ms. McKay said, one we've had before, and we're bringing back, we would like to bring back that literacy skills course as a remedial course for students. The big one that we have is, it's called Ref Reps. It's an officiating course where our students would actually learn how to be refs at our games and take a state test and be able to actually ref games, not just at the town level, but our middle school, our freshmen, and our JV games. And if they're 18, they can actually also ref our varsity games. We are looking to potentially add it in as an elective this year, this upcoming semester. And then moving forward, we're looking at restructuring our PE courses as a whole. And hopefully that could be one of the choices as an actual PE course that the students can count as one of their 4 years. But it's real world. They're going to be, the course emphasizes applied learning, situational awareness, and accuracy under pressure, ensuring participants can perform effectively in live environments. So they'll do the classwork, but then there's so many hours that they need to do as well out in our fields. The course is structured in a way that they will learn how to do 3 different sports per semester. This one, we would be looking at potentially, I believe it's basketball. Nope, let me think again. It's soccer, football, it might be basketball, soccer, football, basketball, so we're ready. And then in the fall, we would focus on the spring sports of softball, baseball, and I don't know what the third one is. But so that's what we're asking, to offer this to our students that are interested. It'll be a small group right now. We're looking at 20 students.
Sounds great. Any questions or comments from the committee?
Through the chair.
Member Caleros?
Just a quick question. In order for kids to pass this class, it's not reliant on the fact that they pass like the state exam or actually become refs. Can they just take the class to take it, and that's just an added opportunity?
We would be looking for them to have interest in reffing, moving forward. So there would be a state exam to pass in order to ref, but they would get credit for the course if they pass the course here at Bartlett.
Okay, so they wouldn't need
Separate
to pass
from-
the state exam. That's like an
Correct.
added bonus. Okay. Thank you.
Sounds like with limited seats, the goal is that we're addressing the referee shortage in the state, though,
Yes.
also, yeah.
Yes.
It's a great idea. It feeds to needs, of giving students real-world experience and something a little different in the classroom. And also, there is a critical shortage of refs, so.
Yeah, the goal would be we could cut back on one of the adult refs for our games in the fall and have one student, one adult, and that would save the cost there
Great,
as we continue.
very creative.
Through the chair.
Member Scariglia?
Is that, I don't know, like the rules of repping, is that not a conflict? Like, are students repping our games?
So we would be focusing more on the younger grades.
Right. For their hours?
If there's a senior that's interested and they're local to colleges, they could come back and ref, so our high school games. But yeah,
And they're not the only ref. So they're with an adult ref.
right.
And there's certain expectations, I think, of refs, at these levels too, right? I mean, some of those calls can be tough.
Typically with soccer, when you're starting out as a new and novice, you're a line ref, you got your primary
Right.
on the middle of the field. Same thing with football. They're going to be very strategic in placement of, newer refs into the place to build experience before they give them those responsibilities.
Yeah. And even maybe starting with younger age levels before, and moving up with, as you gain experience and that kind of thing, I'm sure.
Through the chair.
Member Millet?
I think it's a great opportunity for them too to learn more about a sport and see how difficult it is to be a referee instead of yelling at them during a game. That how difficult it is.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lot of work learning all the rules and not just how it's played, but
Right.
Agree.
great opportunity though.
Any other questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve these 2 additional courses for the second semester at Bartlett High School as presented.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? Desiree, would you please poll the committee?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Great ideas. Thank you.
Thank you.
What is it called? Is it reps? REPS?
REF-REPS.
Nice. Okay, great. All right, well, once again, thank you. And moving right along here, the next item on the agenda is the acceptance of donations.
Good evening. In front of you, you should have this donation sheet. We started with a new form. I thought it would be easier for you to see and what's being donated, so we'll do that moving forward. We have a donation from Mafre for all schools at Christmas. It was assorted toys and food items. Then we had donor 365 Foundation. These were for different students across the district. They donated sneakers. It was 42 pairs of sneakers. And then we had Nowak Plumbing Company from Park, who donated to Park Ave Elementary and Webster Middle School, a school committee room full of toys to support families at Christmas. So I am recommending acceptance of all donations.
Thank you, Mrs. Perangeli.
Thank you. And
Any questions or comments from the committee?
no, I just wanted to say.
Oh, please go ahead.
Nope, I just wanted to thank Mafre again. They are a great partner and a great supporter of us. And Nowak Plumbing, somebody who was a graduate of Webster Public Schools and who likes to give back to the community. I want to thank them. And we are very excited to create a partnership with the 365 Foundation and excited to continue working with them forward. This wasn't a one-time thing. They said this is ongoing. So if there's a need in Webster, we can reach out, even if it's one pair of shoes to support our children, we can do that. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who donated.
Great, yeah, thank you. Now, for families that are in need of sneakers, how would they go about?
They can reach out to their guidance counselor or the principal. They'll come to me. I reach out to the company and I tell them a need. And then we get a pair of sneakers.
Excellent, sounds great. Any further discussion about these donations? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve them.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Desiree, would you please poll the committee?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. And I just want to reiterate Mrs. Perangeli's thanks to Mafre Insurance, the 365 Foundation, and Novak Plumbing and Company for their very generous donations. And I know Mr. Novak and Mafre in particular have been long-term partners for us here in Webster, and excited to see what our relationship with the 365 Foundation looks like in the future. The next item on the agenda is a review transfer signing of warrants, bills, payroll, and vouchers. And we do have a transfer request for the FY26 budget. It's in the amount of $10,000 from the textbook line to the professional development line. Any discussion around that?
Sure. So the curriculum department is requesting this transfer of funding from the textbook line to the PD line. Additional funding is needed to support paraprofessional training as well as some special education training, specifically, I think, for speech and language area. The reason for this is for the added need, and the reason why there's some additional funding here in the textbook line is a decision was made not to move forward with the chemistry and psychology curriculum resources. In addition to that, can you still not hear me? Wow, this is a first. In addition to that, we actually had put the freeze on last year, so there was a period of time where the curriculum office didn't think they were going to be able to get resources. So they had planned for some of that into the next budget year. And then when we lifted up the freeze and settled things out with the transportation costs, they were able to make those purchases at the end of the year. So that's why they're able to make this shift.
Great. Thank you for that information. Any questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve this transfer in the amount of $10,000 from the textbook line to the PD line in the FY26 budget.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Desiree, would you please pull the committee?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
There's a motion and a second. Desiree, would you please pull the committee?
Yes.
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 Yes. Meeting adjourned. Good night, everyone.